Peah, Perek Dalid, Mishnah Gimel. We learned in the past two Mishnayot, especially in Mishnah Aleph, we learned that Peah nitenet b'mechubar lakarka, which means Peah is given while it's still attached to the ground, i.e., the ani, the poor person, has the right and the obligation to enter into the field of the Balabayit and to pick the produce. Okay? And we learned that that is the ideal halacha, and that even if most of the aniyim or all of the aniyim want to do it the other way, want the Balabayit to pick it for him, nonetheless, that's not how it's supposed to be done. We learned the pasuk, it says, La'ani v'lager ta'azovotam. The Balabayit has to leave it, has to leave the Peah, has to leave the produce for the aniyim to collect. Now, it sounds simple and it sounds wonderful, but if you think about it, it presents a problem, because there's not just one ani. We always talk about the theoretical ani, the theoretical poor person. But if you ever went to a shul where there's 5 mishulachim and they're all trying to cover the ground, the guys know, they all know, whoever gets to you first is going to get the most money, and most people will give less and less and eventually nothing to the people that come collecting subsequently. Same thing is true, obviously, for Peah. There's only a finite amount of Peah, and there could have been possibly many aniyim. So Mishnah Gimel and Mishnah Dalid are going to address this problem, and it's a real problem. What happens, and we're going to do Mishnah Dalid, Mishnah Gimel and Mishnah Dalid address this problem. What happens? There's by definition there must be a competition, a concern about aniyim competing with each other. So the first one is, what is permitted for the aniyim to do and what is not permitted, because any ani is obviously going to want to collect as much as possible and prevent his competition from collecting at the same time. Says the Mishnah. Let's say you took some Peah, you pulled out, you harvested some Peah, okay? Uzarka al ashar, and you threw it on some other Peah. You threw it on something that hasn't been picked yet. I.e., that's your way of laying claim to the Peah that you haven't picked yet. Says the Mishnah, Ein lo ba klum. You don't get anything, okay? The Yerushalmi says what it means is Ein lo ba klum. There's a knas, there's a fine, and you even take the Peah that he took, that he had. I.e., we don't have. It's a problem, because you can't have people taking some Peah and throwing it on, and trying to lay claim to things that didn't belong to them. Everyone had to have a fair opportunity to collect the Peah. So if one ani starts using inappropriate means in order to lay claim to too much produce, ein lo blak klum, then we kick him out of the field. He doesn't get to collect in that field. Nafal lo aleha. Or what if he fell on the Peah? He fell on the produce. Uperish talito aleh, where he threw a talit, threw a cloak over it. Similarly, ma'aririn oto himeni, you remove him. No, that's not how it works. The way you collect is by collecting. Everyone has equal opportunity to collect. You can't throw a cloak over it, or a tarp, or even other Peah on it. The only way you could do it is giving each poor person, equal opportunity. V'chein beleket, and the same is true is about leket, about dropped produce. V'chein ve'omer hashicha, and the same is true about shicha, forgotten omerim, forgotten bundles. There has to be equal opportunity, and no one has a right to fall on, or throw produce on, or cover in any other way. Now, it is interesting to note, Ein lo ba klum, the Kahati notes that there's a machloket na'im. So most people suggest Ein lo ba klum, that, like I described before, that the ani doesn't get anything, that they kick him out and he doesn't even get what he collected. Some say that Ein lo ba klum means it's talking about al hashar. Remember, you took your Peah and threw it on uncut produce from Peah. Some say Ein lo ba klum means it's talking about uncut produce, but the simple pshat is, if a poor person, out of desperation, it could very well be, is using inappropriate means in order to collect more produce than others, ein lo blaklum, he's removed. I guess there's a referee there, there's a gizbar, I don't know who's in charge, I don't know who's managing the situation. And we're going to see in the next Mishnah, things could, and I'm sure did, get well out of hand. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to contact me, rspolter@gmail.com. Have a great day.